culture is actually
The following is a special presentation of Sportsball.
This pompous and totally not ham-fisted episode of Sportsball is brought to you by... nothing. Well, this is pretty awkward, isn't it? You know what you should do? Buy my coffee! Bench warmer brew in my salty armchair quarterback blend. Dark, bitter, hyperbolic, and will make you want to yell obscenities at the TV by the end of the third quarter. Bench warmer brew! Because beans don't burn on the grill, but they definitely do in the kitchen. I was surprised that this game didn't blow spectacular chunks of ass all over the field. There are two explanations as to how Jacksonville is somehow leading a game by multiple scores. Either the Jags have channeled their inner Gainesville and are playing well, or since he got overconfident, thus sloppy in execution. I'd probably say it's a bit of both. Now before we go on, I want you to imagine a time when Trevor Lawrence isn't tethered down by Urban Meyer. You don't need to think that hard about it. Hopefully it's because Meyer realizes his mistake and executes himself from coaching duties. Like all semblance of progress in Jacksonville, the lead is too good to be true. The Bungles made crucial stops on defense. The Jaguars threw flags at their own dicks. It's the perfect formula for a walk-off field goal in the 19th straight loss on Jacksonville's tour of death. Give it up for consecutive loss number 19! And Cincy having hope again, that too. Urban Meyer, a champion of family values, giving zero fucks about team protocol, grinding out wins off the field. You may see a woman gyrating on Urban, but he's merely teaching this girl about the intricacies of defensive coverages. He called for soft zone and she gave him press coverage. Meyer tried to put his field general into prevent, but the girl executed bump and no run. The horrible people who took him out for the night robbed him of wholesomeness. Hitting on other girls as a married man and his wife takes care of the kids. Oh, the shame of it all! He needs to go on the Jimmy Swaggart tour of repentance. He's been a distraction from the distraction of shitty football. Cowering in fear from his players as his credibility in the locker room hits brand new lows. Some say he's already lost it with his antics. He's been quite devastated and heartbroken, they say, which is perfect for him to be lol cow of the week. Women aren't good for those heart issues you've been having, sir. We apparently can't talk about assault since it allegedly triggers traumatic situations or some shit. Buffalo does not care about such frivolity. They see a Houston team dealing with demons and shit on them from the highest perch they can find. My words cannot do this justice. This was such thorough annihilation that the Texans should commit seppuku out of shame. Colonoscopies are more enjoyable than seeing this team. Davis Mills is about to enter witness protection from the thorough destruction of his soul. 4 picks, 87 yards passing, a QBR of less than 1. That uncircumcised penis and his football dreams die in front of his eyes. No mercy from the Bills. And that's how they want it. Houston, here's some change for bus fare. The gaping holes in your body will probably get infected, but tough shit. That's it, Justin Fields is being sent to die. Matt Nagy is throwing him out again against Detroit to win. So you mean to tell me that the Bears emphasize the rushing game and team defense? They didn't force Fields to play over his head this week. By Virginia McCaskey's undead corpse, it's like they should have been doing last week! It does come with the asterisk of being against the Lions, who personify how shit the Fords are at running a team. Redzone opportunities. Repeated redzone opportunities. You're supposed to score points on those? What's a good drought for sheer ineptitude over there? Like 4? So they don't have to give the ball back to the Bears because they're trying to be nice. That's shocking. About as much as the fans still wanting Matt Nagy dead. I don't blame them with David Montgomery dying from overuse as a result. When you make the Indianapolis Colts offense look competent, you have serious goddamn issues that need to be addressed. Miami, did you roll over and die like the Marlins did? At least no one gives a shit about them, but you? You're supposed to be fucking playoff contenders! And you're pushing out wet farts like this? The offense didn't do jack and or shit until the fourth quarter. You know, when the game is all but over? I can receive a goddamn old European castle as compensation, but it doesn't matter if it's 3 years late. They made the Colts look like the playoff candidates they were supposed to be at the beginning of the year. With all of their injuries and stained glass Wentz? Fuck you. Get out of here until you find a real offense, you bastards. Carolina's had an easy schedule to start out the year. It showed against Dallas. Panthers, you unfortunately have to face a team with things called offensive talent and shut down defensive play. As quickly as Dak Prescott can launch artillery fire across the field, Trevon Diggs will swoop in and pick off passes like a hawk grabbing baby ducks for its meal. That's about as cruel as it was. The Cowboys didn't even bother to chew and let you out of your misery. They swallowed them whole, to be digested slowly in a vat of acid. If that's as disgusting as it sounds, it's because it's accurate to how this game played out. No Christian McCaffrey and more does that to a team. Sam Darnold is much better this year, but he can't do it alone. It's the story of football. When the Cowboys are good, the world loses. This year, Dan Quinn is in a position to thrive overseeing the Dallas defense. It's a much better fit for his skills. The Chiefs are so goddamn lucky that they played the rotting carcass of the Eagles instead of a legit contender. They are sloppy. There are gaggles of college bitches at baby's first frat party that handle themselves with more poise than Kansas City has this season. Look past the surface stats. Look past the skill on offense and Mahomes pulling his brother's dignity out of his ass. You will see a group that vastly over-relies on this talent to win football games. We saw it against Baltimore. We saw it against San Diego's midlife crisis. We will see it far more in the future. Fantastica beat fucking Philadelphia. They breed on their own misery. It's a fetish for those people. The locally correct twist on cuckold porn. I have no faith in the Chiefs right now. I won't until they realize they can't just play backyard football and expect to make another Super Bowl. You're better than this, Chiefs. You can't just sign Josh Gordon and call it a day. You're not playing the Eagles every week, now act like it! Do you want to see what true pain is like? Are you sure? Then look at the Minnesota Vikings. If creativity and torturing oneself was profitable, they'd be richer than Elon Musk. Send this team to space, for their eternal hex will cause everything to malfunction and kill them from oxygen deprivation. A match against Cleveland in front of the home faithful epitomizes it. The defense is doing its job, for God's sake. Baker Mayfield has been horrid. One of the worst performances we've seen from him in years. Perfect for the Vikings to raid their hope, right? You're a damn fool if you don't know the result of this fortune. Seeing the treasure chest as Minnesota devolve into a drooling invalid, spasming on the floor instead of grabbing what's his. The defense may stop the Browns in their tracks at the goal line again, but oops, defensive holding. Touchdown and 2-point conversion to Cleveland. The limp dick offense will do the rest. Kirk Cousins is Michigan J. Frog. He only performs when nobody's looking. When they show up to the theater, croak. You want cruelty? Minnesota is a fumble, a missed field goal, and a defensive holding call away from possibly being undefeated. It is the horn's cry of the Viking. One of perpetual failure. They'll probably be regretting these losses in December. Atlanta had their inexplicable win against an opponent they were expected to lose to, and that seemingly satisfies them on the defensive side of the ball. Then again, the Falcons' defense has been terrible for a while now. It holds back their offense from greatness. Here I am saying that Matt Ryan is declining hard and is possibly cooked, and he comes back with this. Who knew that Cordarrelle Patterson still had these kinds of games left in him? It's like he's back at Tennessee. So in front of this sparse crowd at Goatsy Stadium, you'd think the fans would leave with a win and a Home Depot gift card or something? Oh, you poor child. You don't know the Falcons' love of imploding. What other team could make Taylor Heineke look like Tom Brady? Atlanta, that's who. Heineke played his goddamn heart out, but the Falcons do themselves no favors. Even up by 8 with a few minutes left in the fourth quarter, you know the inevitable is coming. Chase Young committed one of the most heinous assaults on a quarterback in NFL history. How dare he touch a player and interrupt offense? Doesn't he know that's forbidden these days? But even then, you could smell it in the air. The opposing comeback. The collapse. The choke.
Heineke all day to throw. Nobody open. Now McKissick pops free, and he found him. McKissick runs through the tackle, down the sideline. McKissick going airborne.
I feel nothing. There's not a single fuck I have about another Falcon punch at home. Do you want me to pretend to be enamored by blowing an 88.2% chance of winning? That's amateur shit for Atlanta. This isn't failure. It's addiction to failure. This self-destructive behavior only helps your division rivals. Get help, Falcons. I beg of you.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
New Orleans is back at the Superdome. It's home, and that means that the Saints can go back to what they do best. Piss off their fans with a combination of terrible play and massive defensive lapses in key situations. These are the New York Giants they're playing against. It's not like the Saints are marching in versus, Tampa Bay or something. This should have been an easy win for them. It's not like the G-Men are any good, but they made Daniel Jones transform into Dan Marino. That's pretty impressive. I didn't know a team could do that without making him fumble 3 times. I don't think the Saints' offense was that impressive either. Missed opportunities, shanked field goals, trick plays that only trick the offense, the good shit. But you know what rears its ugly head again? By God, the defense shitting the bed. Because that hasn't been an issue with this team for the past 10 years, hasn't it? New York blesses themselves with these fortuitous derps and ties the game. Graham Gano is also pretty good at long-range field goals, but that's not the point. What is that the Giants get the ball to start OT, and the coverage failings continue into this drive. So now we get to see an old friend drive the dagger in to seal the game.
1st and goal from the New Orleans 6 as Barkley takes it to the goal line. He's in! Giants win in overtime!
Analytics? Joe Judge don't need no stinking Excel. He has about as many wins as Bill Gates does this season with this victory. Take that, you fucking nerds! The New York Jets. Whenever you think you can't laugh at them any further, you'd be right. There is another team that will somehow shit the bed even worse than they do. Today, that is the Tennessee Titans. I like to say that teams play down to competition when they are poor against opponents they should be crushing. That isn't correct here. It's far more laughable than that. There is bad play and then there is whatever the blue hell the Titans are doing. Tennessee will have endless chances to allow Lowell Jets to reign supreme, but they seem to have been visited by the spirit of Bud Adams. He meddled in his team's affairs to fuck every single thing up whenever they could do something. The Redzone is now a chastity belt. They cannot break it. It's ironic since, holy shit, Zach Wilson was allowed out of the torture chamber today. It's cute when he's not trapped in an Iron Maiden for 4 quarters. You want to know how pathetic this game was? The Jets had a lead. For the first time this entire season. I have some questions, Titans. How did you win football games against far superior opponents? Why did you look past a team at this level? Am I supposed to seal clap for tying the game up? You'd be lucky to get a goddamn golf clap. Now we've come to this. The game is not only in overtime, but is hijacking the broadcasts of other, far more important games. The Jets kick a field goal, forcing the serve to Tennessee to choke everything once again. Thousands of yinzers and cheeseheads demand blood for this insult. This game won't end. Fuck you, man tits. I hope you fucking missed this field goal. Serves you right for this puke showing.
On its way, and he missed it!
Missed it, why? Oh God, you fucking suck. You suck so goddamn much.
And you blew it! You blew it.
Oh no, Denver! You had to play a team that wasn't carefully handpicked by the developers? The game stopped holding your hand and made you rely on your own skill? Well, that's it. Time to write a bad review on IGN. Unfortunately for the Broncos, they can't write unfair reviews because they suck and must still deal with relentless dunking by those who knew they were frauds. Baltimore's defense is injured, rat-infested trash, yet they looked unstoppable again. And that was before Teddy Bridge was knocked out of the game with a concussion. Now you must endure horsecock lock. They call him that because you'll be in the Mr. Hand simulator by the time this game's finished. Baltimore crushes the lower-class peon that thinks he's better than what he is. End of story. Back to the decrepit village, fuckers! The Ravens flexed on you and you're pissed about it. Bitch about it at the tavern to some wenches. Game of the week, huh? Maybe in our dreams. The problem with Matthew Stafford in Detroit was that he would put up these tremendous stats yet never lead his team anywhere against quality opponents. He'd be held back by any number of factors, both in and out of his control. By God, wouldn't you guess that this outcome turned out to be true again? The Arizona Cardinals, with their swagger and charisma, walk right into SoFi Stadium and beat the ever-loving shit out of the Rams without breaking a sweat. We were praising this team as the new kings of football exactly a week ago, and they got wrecked by a blitzkrieg. LA No Air Raid Siren can save you from Kyler Murray and all of his toys. I'm more surprised the Cardinal defense has found form so far in this young season. That's usually the part that ends up killing them because Texas Tech memes. But Arizona knows the secret. Don't just become a Big 12 school. Make the NFL into the Big 12 Conference. Galaxy-brained move. Can the real Seattle fucking stand up? Please, I'd like to figure out what the hell team I'm supposed to expect from them out of a given week. They'll look great. They'll choke everything away in a second half. They'll look like the sludge spewing out of a septic system. And then they'll somehow appear to put everything together and lather a fancy sheen to mask the rotting stench beneath. It looked ugly early, but against San Francisco? You'd think this team was a goddamn Super Bowl contender. The offense did shit. The defense actually defended. Ken Norton Jr. somehow gets to live for another week. How does this happen? Russell Wilson was running a marathon with how shitty his O-line was yet again, and he still performed! San Fran, do you have an answer for this heresy? Oh, I see. The 49ers betrayed Jimmy Jesus to the injury clergy for 30 pieces of silver. The fans' wish has been fulfilled at quarterback. Trey Lance, the Judas of San Francisco. His youth and athletic beauty enamor many to his cause, and they hope Garoppolo is injured long-term because everyone is a petty fuck. Hopefully this doesn't end like Judas himself, if you get my drift. Didn't solve shit for the Niners, they still lose a crucial game in the NFC West race. They need to do something, though. That offense has been shit in a bucket so far, and that might be going easy on them. The grudge match of Super Bowl 45. Home in the heart of cheese country in Green Bay. Much hype was had. They must have not been paying attention to either team at all. The QBs have aged in mass contrast. Aaron Rodgers hasn't skipped a beat. He still moves around effectively in the pocket. He throws with precision. He'll look very nice in an NFC North rivals uniform next season. Once we head on over to Captain Fat Fuck, all I'm hearing is how he lost weight and that makes him special for being an old man. He also lost any semblance of talent he had as well. I've been yelling to the clouds that this man should have been gone years ago. His decline was going to be hard and unforgiving. Look at these clips and tell me this man should be starting in the NFL. The only offensive drives he's pushing are ones where he's trying to relive his glory days picking up chicks at bars. A liability at QB is one thing, he can change up his playstyle to suit his fading skills. But he's not doing that. The Steelers still think it's Super Bowl 45. Short passes to wideouts who get fucking killed down the middle every play. Najee Harris being used as a glorified checkdown receiver where he gets fucking killed every play. The best blocker on that team is Ben's Twitter account. Yes, bitch to me about the offsides penalty on the field goal block before halftime. You're right, it was very goddamn borderline and a judgment call at best, but this team wasn't winning. Green Bay played an efficient game. Pittsburgh looked like ass. And that's why the Steelers are staring down the barrel of a probable desperation move. Except where it needs to be done because Ben is unfucking touchable on this roster for some reason. I swear Pittsburgh media wouldn't be out of place in North Korea. Art Rooney is this team's Kim Il-sung. Did you guys know that Tom Brady is returning to Foxborough this week? I don't think the media is reporting enough on this fantastic occasion. The duo that made us all dread the Shield reuniting for forced counseling sessions. You can just feel the awkward sexual tension between Belichick and Brady. They want to go at each other again, just like old times. But Brady is with another sugar daddy, and Belichick's chasing after younger tail. It wouldn't work. Neither would this game. A combination of the weather and overhype made this game as ugly to watch as Bill Belichick in a prom dress. Hey, I had to visualize that shit, you have to as well. No, Steven, don't expose your perversions in public, you sick fuck. You want to be a degenerate, choke out the Buccaneers offense. Even though that's not much of a challenge in these conditions, it's a very close game into the fourth. You could almost say Belichickian. That may not even be a word, but who fucking cares? Tom Brady broke the passing yard record that probably won't be broken for a few years. You know what could be broken, though? This lead that Tampa Bay gained on a field goal in crunch time. Speaking of reminiscing, do you remember when the Bucs always missed critical field goals to hilarious consequences? Wasn't one of those kickers Nick Folk?
On its way, it is off the goalpost. No good, you can hear the doink.
I didn't even have to add the ding in there. That was a majestic doink. Cody Parkey is now crying somewhere in a flight back to Cleveland after hearing that word uttered from a man's lips. It all worked out in the end. Tampa Bay wins. Patriots fans are pissed because they're entitled shits and Brady and Belichick had make-up sex in the locker room after the game. No wonder why those two didn't want to talk about it after the fact. So this game is under a lightning delay, even though it's in a dome that's not apparently a dome, and player safety is in danger because it's a covered stadium that's not fully covered? That's about as embarrassing as Raider fans swarming to a glorified home game against a team that shouldn't be in LA. What I hate about Justin Herbert's emergence isn't that I shit on this selection at the draft, a lot of people did. It's that the Chargers don't deserve him. Dean Spanos is a worthless fuck and he's being rewarded for his greed. Nothing against the poor bastards that support them or the Raiders fans that leave unhappy. but the team still referred to as San Diego clamped down on an upstart Vegas franchise by means of IRS appraisal. It just dogged them with paperwork when they tried to do anything, so it makes for a relatively uneventful game. The Chargers were smooth and efficient, and that's a deadly combination for opposition in this league. The unrelenting tide of Raider Nation is stemmed. For now. All that remains are the Diamond Dogs solidifying their shell base at 3-1. This team should have the roar of the crowd at their back, yet they have next to nothing. Fuck you, Spanos. Football is a brutal game. May the bell toll for the fallen.
Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost.
Thus concludes another week of this sermon on the field. Amen.
We are the Spitzer offensive line. With the Spitzer shield, you get peace of mind. Get the benefits that prevent any struggle. Let's all do the Spitzer Shield Shuffle.
My name is Jack, and I protect your city's favorite quarterback.
My name is Joel, and I guard the city of rock and roll.